Today I have in my hand Sony Ericsson's flagship smartphone. This is the Sony Ericsson X10. It has a 1 GHz Snapdragon processor, 384 megabytes of RAM, and it runs on Android 1.6. Now this is one of the few smartphones to still run on Android 1.6, and you're probably asking yourself, what the heck is Android 1.6? It's one of the first versions of Android. And unfortunately, because it has Android 1.6, it kind of holds the phone up in a couple different arenas. First is speed. A lot of the web navigation and basic in-phone browsing was very slow and kind of laggy. So hopefully the Android upgrade will fix that. Secondly, it doesn't have HD video, and Sony Ericsson claims that the upgrade will give the phone HD video capability. One other neat thing about this phone is it has an 8 megapixel camera. And although it has one of the bigger resolutions in the industry, the image quality was subpar in still image and video, and it only takes widescreen VGA 720 by 480 video standard definition, which is pretty upsetting because it does have an Exmor CMOS sensor that it borrows from the Sony CyberShot lineup of digital cameras, but it just couldn't match the other competitors in its class like the Motorola Droid 2 or the Samsung Galaxy S phones, especially the iPhone 4. No phone has beaten the iPhone 4 in the imaging department. One great eccentric thing about this phone is that it includes Timescape and Mediascape, which are two different ways to basically live your mobile lifestyle, Sony Ericsson style. Timescape tracks everything that you do on this phone, action for action, and it categorizes it so you can see what was your last text message, what was your last picture you took, what are the latest Facebook updates, Twitter, what was the last song you listened to. So it's definitely an alternative way to have a smartphone experience. The other thing is Mediascape, and Mediascape is similar to Timescape, except it deals with primarily media, so your pictures, your videos, and your music. Unfortunately, we don't get pinch to zoom, we don't get tap to zoom, only in the image gallery. Browsing, that was kind of tough to deal with because we just had on-screen buttons, and it was really lacking in our internet browsing experience. We do get Android Market, we get AT&T hotspots and all the included AT&T programs, radio, and we get Gmail, Google Talk. And the phone has a 4-inch capacitive touchscreen with a fairly decent display. It's not an AMO LED like the Galaxy S phones have. It's not an iPhone 4 Retina display, but it's still decent enough to get the job done. As far as call quality, voice call quality, and reception was weak to mediocre, especially compared to the Galaxy S phone. We called the same number from the exact same location, and the Galaxy S phone was able to hold a solid call with no static and no dropping. The X10 faded in and out and exhibited static, so we know there's definitely a difference with reception. But as far as battery life, the X10 has pretty good battery life. We set both the X10 and the Captivate overnight, and the X10 outlasted the Captivate. It's not as good as the Motorola Droid 2, which is one of the best battery performances we've seen this year, but it's still up there. So is the Sony Ericsson X10 worth that Android 2.1 upgrade? You know, even then, it wouldn't compare to a Samsung Galaxy S phone or an iPhone 4 or a Motorola Droid. So unless you're a Sony Ericsson loyalist and you're really into Timescape and Mediascape, you don't care about speed as much, then check out the Sony Ericsson X10 for AT&T, but there are better options out there. For InfoSync World, I'm Mike Broman.